Hello and greetings, everybody. Welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here on day number 1 of my 30 favorite rock albums from the year 1979. Yes, this is the number 1 album for me for that year, and in fact, this album is actually my second favorite album of all time. From 1985 until probably 2019 or 20, it was my favorite album. So a good 35 years, this album was my favorite rock album. It's only been in recent 3 years that one of the other albums up there moved ahead of it, and it's now being threatened to move down even further because I've listened to it so much and for so long that it's just kind of burned out. It has more of an emotional impact on me than most albums do, and we're talking about this album by Triumph, Just a Game. This is the number 1 album for the year for me from 1979. And I should explain that the reason this album is so impactful on me is that it came out at a period of time just prior to me going to high school. The years of my public school time were almost over. And in fact, I had been let's just say I was removed from the school, only allowed to go to one class because of some incidents that happened in grade 8. I know this is a bit of a personal thing. I don't normally do that, but I thought I would, in order to explain why this album means so much to me. So I got this album in January of that year, and it was in December that they asked me to stay home and I could come for one class, which was woodwork shop, because the teacher there liked me. And that was it. I wasn't allowed in the school any other time. And this album came out in January, right after Christmas. I got it, and I played it all the time, and I got into reading, and I read a lot. Well, I wasn't getting into reading. I'd been reading a lot before, but that's what I did with all my time, is I read, and I played this album constantly, and it had an emotional, I say it stabilized me emotionally. It gave me some kind of good feelings about stuff, and so it has a huge emotional impact for me. Is it the greatest album of all time? Well, probably not, but for me it was my favorite album for a very long time. So it has the opening track, Move On. Wasn't one of the songs I liked a lot initially, but it's become probably my favorite track on the album now. I love it. I just love Gilmour's voice on this. I think it's a rockin' song. Just really, really good song. Lay It on the Line, of course, is the big kind of hit. Well, it wasn't the big hit at the time, though. The other song, Hold On, was the big hit. But Lay It on the Line, I think, has become the classic big hit that everybody knows from this album and loves Gilmour's voice on Gilmour. Rick Emmett's voice on this. Young Enough to Cry, I went through a period of time where I absolutely adored this song. It was one of my favorites. I listened to it constantly. I recorded it separately and would only play that one song. American Girls is a kind of funny track. I liked this a lot when it first came out, and I've never liked it much since. It just kind of faded a bit for me. The title track, Just a Game, was my favorite track on this album for many years. And only in the last decade or so it's kind of been replaced by Moving On. It's just such a forlorn song, but the guitar on it is fantastic. Fantasy Serenade, another great classical bit that Rick Emmett gets to show off his guitar abilities here. Hold On, that was the big hit on the album at the time. Huge hit for them. Hasn't held up as strongly as a lot of the other tracks on the album. And then, of course, the final song on the track, Suitcase Blues, which I think is killer. It's one of my favorite tunes on this album. It's always been one of my favorite tunes on this album. It's always been in the top 2 or 3 songs. I think it's one of the best of their music that they put out. So for me, Triumph's Just a Game, the number 1 album for the year 1979. It's my personal favorite. I don't want to suggest that this is the best album ever or anything like that, but it's my personal favorite. I really like the album cover, and if you look, you won't see it unless they take it out. the whole length of the album cover is fantastic. And then, of course, you have this little photo of the group and the game that comes with it. It's a game with no ending and no beginning. And that is pretty much the way I thought about life back in those days. And I don't think of that as much anymore. I didn't tell you that this album was released on January the 10th, 1979. Actually, maybe I did tell you. I think I did. It is on the Attic RCA label and also on the TML label, which is the Triumph Music label. So, yeah, so great album. If you have any comments about it, please put them in the comment section below. Much appreciated. Please hit the like and subscribe button. This is the final episode for the top 30 albums from the year 1979, with the exception that I will do an honorable mentions later this afternoon. There's about 9 albums that I think should be mentioned on that. And I hope you've enjoyed this series as much as I have putting it on. Tomorrow we'll be starting a new series, and we'll get to that when we get to it. So enjoy your day. Please hit the like, subscribe button, and we will see you again tomorrow with another series. Take care. Bye.